The gentleman from New York reserves. The gentlelady is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield myself as much time as I may consume. Excuse me. If we defeat the previous question, I will offer an amendment to the rule to provide for consideration of Congresswoman McMorris Rodgers and Congressman Westerman's American Energy Independence from Russia Act. Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent to insert the text of my amendment in the record along with the extraneous material immediately prior to the vote on the previous question.
Without objection.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. For the fifth time, Republicans ask their colleagues to consider this bill. The average price at the pump 2 days before President Biden took office was $2.38 per gallon. They have been steadily climbing ever since. On February 14th, 6 days before the Russian invasion of Ukraine, the average price per gallon was $3.49. These prices are affecting every single American. When adjusted for the increasing prices on all goods, thanks to failed Democrat policies, wages and salaries are below pre-pandemic levels. My constituents are pleading with Congress to focus on this issue and are being ignored by the out-of-touch majority. Now, for the fifth time, House Republicans are urging the majority to immediately bring relief at the pump now. While my colleagues continue to bring flawed, misguided, and unvetted legislation to the floor, House Republicans stand ready to work on issues that directly affect Americans' pocketbooks. To further explain the amendment, I yield 4 minutes to the representative from Florida.
The gentlelady is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you to my colleague and friend from the great state of Minnesota. I rise today to defeat the previous question so that we may immediately consider H.R. 6858, Congresswoman McMorris Rodgers' bill that would strengthen United States energy security, encourage and promote domestic production of crude oil and natural gas, and help return to and solidify American energy independence. You know, I get asked all the time, why? Why will Congress do nothing to lower the cost of fuel? Why do they continue to talk and do absolutely nothing? Well, right here. Right here is your answer. Today, Republicans stand for the fifth time, legislation in hand, to bring gas prices down and to restart our energy production right here at home. Legislation that would make us energy independent once again and that would get thousands of Americans back to work. Legislation that would be a collective sigh of relief for our seniors and those on fixed incomes who are making the decision between gas or groceries. This legislation is the answer, and it is ready to go. But you know what? My colleagues on the other side of the aisle have already been given vote recommendations by the Speaker of the House to shoot this legislation down. They haven't even read it. They haven't even read it, and they're so blind to and beholden to their radical agenda that they won't consider a common sense solution to one of the most pressing issues facing all of our collective constituents, these fuel prices. Again, this is the fifth time that this legislation has been presented, and it is the fifth time that my colleagues on the other side of the aisle have put Russia first and America last. The average price of gas today is $4.56 and climbing. For our truckers and farmers who fuel up on diesel, like many in my district, it's costing them well over $5 a gallon at the pump. In fact, it is $5.19 today for a gallon of diesel. All across our country, Americans, regardless of party, are making decisions, again, between gas in the tank or groceries in the fridge. Folks are canceling their first road trip with their family in 2 years or visits to grandparents because Biden has decided that Americans who put fuel in their own gas tanks and shop for their own groceries, they are not the priority. In fact, just 17 hours ago, the Biden administration was more concerned with presenting former President Barack Obama with a ceremonial pen than talking about how we are going to bring down fuel prices in this country. You want to talk about out of touch? There it is, in a nutshell. This is the Biden energy policy, soaring prices that hurt hardworking Americans and increasing reliance on foreign countries to meet our energy needs. We know that America's future will not be realized by sunshine and pinwheels. We will realize it by boosting domestic production and ending our dependence on countries that don't have our best interests in mind. Heck, they don't even like us. I've spoken to foresters and farmers in my district who have told me that energy costs alone are driving them out of operation and out of business. To illustrate this, one of the top timber producers in my own district said he is spending $18,000 more a week on fuel costs alone. If this continues, he will be suspending operations. All because this administration has issued our domestic energy industry a death sentence. And that happened even before they took office. This Biden energy plan, or lack thereof, is ruining the financial hopes and dreams of hardworking Americans, destroying farmers, foresters, families, ranchers, and small businesses. And we know that we can put an end to this energy crisis. We know we can, but instead, we're focused on ceremonial pens and issues that do not matter to the American people. It is long past time that we end this energy crisis, put American energy security and independence at the top of the priority list, and I stand before this body and the American people to say that we, too, have had enough. I urge my colleagues to defeat the previous question so we can immediately bring my friend and colleague, Congresswoman McMorris Rodgers' legislation to the floor. And with that, I yield back.